Hello everybody, I'm just going to show you real quick, quick being the key word here, on how I do these problems. So first thing, I always put all the data in a MS Excel spreadsheet. I just like Excel. It is very easy to use for a lot of these things. So there's the data. I'm going to pick a cell, any cell. I'm going to go to the function bar and I'm going to pick a t-test. So make sure my clicker's in array 1. I'm going to drag here. Click the box, make sure it's in array 2, drag here. You'll notice that there's more managers than there are staff, so this is not a paired t-test. I will repeat that. Because the sample size is different for each group, it's not a paired t-test. It is it's number 2, it is we're going to use two tails. But again, it is not a paired t-test. We're just going to assume that the homogeneity of variance is the same here. We're going to check that out in SPSS. But we're going to make this a 2, right? A 2 is assumed variance is the same. Bam, and that's the p-value is less than 0.05. So we know there's a significant difference between attitudes of the managers and the staff when it comes to leadership. But now we're going to turn around and repeat this in SPSS. Please hold. So I have a new SPSS sheet. I named the first variable group. Always name them group. I want you guys to name them group for a long time. And then we have to go into the value section. We'll just call 1 the managers. Add 2 the staff. Add, click OK, boom. We got to then tell the computer what type of measure it is. So for group, okay, can I get them both in here? Maybe. So group is nominal, right? Everybody's in one group or the other. That makes it a categorical or nominal. Leadership is simply a scale, right? They're going to measure their leader's effectiveness with a number, so that makes it a scale. And I just went ahead and cut and pasted all the data from the spreadsheet into here, so we're good to go. But now that we're in SPSS, first thing I want to look for is the normality of the data. Remember, we always have to look at the assumptions. Normality, independence of observation, homogeneity of variance. Unfortunately, SPSS does not do homogeneity of variance for a t-test, but I'm going to show you a little trick. Okay, so to check for normality, analyze, descriptive, explore. Get back in there. Explore. Kabam. So basically, we want to look at the leadership. Okay, that's what we're going to check for normality. With the categorical variable, it doesn't make sense to look for outliers or normality because they're categorical. It's not a number. It's just a category. So we're going to go to statistics. We want descriptives. Probably look for outliers. Click continue. Plots are nice. I like the histogram. That's easy to detect normality with. And we'll put those on there. And that's okay. And always look in options. And case-wise exclusion, that's not us. So we're going to click OK. Tells us how many people we got, 25. Nobody's missing. This gives us our skewness and kurtosis. These numbers aren't perfect, but they're well within range. I believe if these numbers are over 2, then you're in trouble. But let's go ahead and look at the data. Again, extreme values, not necessarily outliers. Test of normality, right? There's the Smirnoff test. It's bigger than 0.05, so we did not violate normality. And I'm looking at this and I'm saying, it's not perfect. It looks a little skewed to me, but according to the Smirnoff test, we can continue. And then there's a normal QQ plot. Again, you got a weirdo out here, but the rest of it is relatively normal. And I don't know what that is. But here's your your box plot, and again, it is a bit skewed. So, but that's not bad. So let's continue, shall we? So now we're going to go to Analyze, Compare Means, Independent Samples t-test. Okay. Your testing variable, or your DV, is leadership, and your grouping variable is your grouping variable. So you have to define the groups. Okay, so we had 1 was for manager, 2 was for staff. And I think we're good to go. Click OK. So here's the t-test. We had 14 managers, 11 staff. There's their means. Remember, you're going to have to write this part up with the APA formatting, what their means and standard deviations were. How to tell for homogeneity of variance in a t-test is you compare their standard deviations, because as we know, right, when you calculate the variance, when you subtract each individual from the group mean, square them, and add them all up, that's the variance. The square root of that is the standard deviations. And these two are relatively close to each other. So we're just going to assume that the homogeneity of variance is good to go. But here's the table underneath it here. This is your money. So it ran an F score, but we're only going to look at the t-test statistic. And it's just a little bit over 2. Right? Degrees of freedom was 23. We did a two-tailed test, and we got a significance value of just under 0.05, which is good, which means we get to reject the null, and we get to say that there is a significant difference between the two groups when it comes to leadership scores. And that's it for this one.